Throughout history, the wise have invariably pointed out the fleeting nature of existence. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, meditated deeply on the ephemeral quality of life, understanding that all must ultimately succumb to the inevitability of death. Similarly, Lao Tzu, the sage of Taoism, observed that even the fiercest wind does not blow through the morning, nor does rain persist indefinitely. These observations compel us to acknowledge the constant flux in the world around us, from the cyclical progression of the seasons to the inevitable aging of our bodies. Yet what of the fluctuations of the mind? Indeed, our emotional and mental states are no less subject to change. Just as the external world undergoes endless transformation, so too do our inner experiences shift and evolve. This recognition of mental impermanence is crucial for understanding and navigating the landscape of our emotions. Indeed, our mental states are prone to swift and dramatic changes that can lead to profound suffering. These fluctuations, commonly known as mood swings, can range from mildly irritating to severely debilitating, affecting our overall quality of life. But what are the sources of these erratic changes? Are they merely reactions to external challenges like a traffic jam or a financial crisis? Or are there deeper, more complex causes at play? Philosophers throughout history have pondered these very questions, each contributing their insights into the nature of human emotions and mood stability. This discussion is vital, as understanding the origin of mood swings can illuminate potential strategies for managing them. This video delves into the philosophical exploration of mood swings, examining both ancient wisdom and modern thought, to uncover why our emotions can be so volatile and what we might do to achieve a more balanced mental state. Mood swings are universally disruptive. In one instance, you might feel completely aligned with life, everything unfolding effortlessly, making you feel as if you are harmoniously dancing with the cosmos. Minor irritations, like your dog making a mess in the living room or an impatient driver cutting you off, may momentarily disturb you but do not detract from your overall sense of well-being. These incidents, while annoying, do not disrupt your day, dredge up old wounds, or cast a shadow over your future. In these moments, you resemble a steadfast rock amidst the ocean's turmoil, smiling serenely, unaffected by the surrounding chaos. Suddenly, the once luminous world dims. You find yourself swimming against the current, facing obstacles that seem to amplify life's difficulties, like agonizingly slow traffic or a malfunctioning internet connection. These small mishaps, like a failing mobile hotspot, may feel like a continuous curse, leading you to question why fortune seems so unfavorably biased against you compared to others whose lives appear seamlessly joyful. Mood swings vary widely in intensity. Some are fleeting and mild, barely noticeable disruptions in our emotional continuum. Others, however, escalate to monumental heights akin to Mount Everest, only to plummet into profound valleys of despair that can cripple our daily functioning. Some of us struggle to even rise from bed. These intense emotional oscillations are far from trivial. At their extremes, they can drive us to actions and decisions that, in more stable moments, we might deeply regret. In the grip of euphoria, one might indulge in extravagant spending, acquiring things that would normally seem unnecessary or extravagant. Conversely, during our deepest troughs of despair, thoughts of non-existence can emerge, and self-destructive behaviors may surface as flawed attempts to alleviate the torment. Thus, mood swings are not merely disruptive. They can be profoundly self-destructive. Consider addictions, which are often coping mechanisms for dealing with persistent, unsettling emotional states. Many people turn to alcohol or other substances, whether they are feeling low as a form of solace or in high spirits as a means of celebration. However, the repercussions of mood swings extend beyond the individual. While expressing frustrations or emotions occasionally is healthy, constant exposure to someone's volatile emotional states can severely strain relationships. Moods, much like colds, are contagious. Few may choose to consistently spend time with those who oscillate between being pessimistic Pete and Debbie Downer. The suffering caused by mood swings is evident, yet the underlying causes are multifaceted, entangling elements of our biology, life experiences, emotions, and perceptions of the world. By examining mood swings through a philosophical lens, particularly from the Stoic viewpoint, we seek to understand their origins more deeply. The Stoics frequently referenced Lady Fortuna, the personification of chance and fortune, depicting her as an unpredictable and harsh mistress. Her whims dictate the distribution of both fortune and disaster among humanity. She can mercilessly impose suffering, such as poverty, illness, and death, upon the world's inhabitants, playing with lives as if they were pawns in a cruel game. She might grant moments of luck, only to capriciously withdraw them without notice. This portrayal by the Stoics illustrates why mood swings are a natural response to the volatile nature of our circumstances. Living under the caprice of such forces, it's understandable that our emotional states fluctuate dramatically. Amidst these ever-changing fates, our moods reflect our struggles to find stability and meaning in a world governed by the unpredictable whims of fortuna. I have outlined the Stoic perception of a world inherently unstable, governed by the fickle whims of fortune and chance. While we may exert some influence upon our surroundings, control is an illusion. Fate unfolds independently of our desires, and no measure of precaution can shield us entirely from misfortune. Safety is a concept without substance. Even the most fortified shelters cannot insulate us from life's inherent uncertainties. The Stoics recognize that our environment impacts our emotional states, but with a crucial qualification. It is not the circumstances themselves that disturb us, but rather our responses to them. The Stoics believe that mood swings arise primarily from two sources: desire and aversion. Epictetus, a prominent Stoic philosopher, eloquently summarized this concept, stating, "Remember that following desire promises the attainment of that of which you are desirous, and aversion promises the avoiding that to which you are averse. However, he who fails to obtain the object of his desire is disappointed, and he who incurs the object of his aversion wretched." This statement encapsulates the Stoic view that our emotional upheavals are not merely reactions to external events, but are deeply influenced by our desires and aversions, by our personal attachments and repulsions. Hence, according to Stoic thought, the key to moderating our mood swings lies in adjusting our internal attitudes, rather than attempting to control the uncontrollable external world. By cultivating a mindset that is less reactive to the dual forces of desire and aversion, we can achieve greater emotional equilibrium. According to Stoic philosophy, our moods are significantly shaped by our thoughts and attitudes toward our circumstances. The Stoics emphasize that it is not merely the events themselves that affect us, but how we perceive and react to these events. When we allow our desires and aversions to dominate our reactions, we are inevitably led to emotional instability. Fate, indifferent and impartial, pushes us in various directions. If we resist or cling to specific outcomes from these forces, we become dependent on external conditions for our happiness or misery. Thus, when conditions align with our desires, we experience joy, and when they do not, we find ourselves in despair. This dependency on external circumstances for our emotional state leads to frequent mood swings. By allowing our sense of well-being to be contingent on the fluctuating nature of fate, we essentially enslave ourselves to circumstances and set ourselves up for continual suffering. This Stoic view teaches us that true freedom and stability in our emotional lives come from mastering our responses to the world, not from attempting to control the uncontrollable. Buddhism, contemporaneous with Stoicism, echoes a similar sentiment regarding the origins of our emotions. It is our minds and the manner in which they cling to fleeting thoughts that govern our feelings. The Buddha taught that the untamed monkey mind, which leaps from thought to thought, engenders cycles of rumination, worry, and anxiety. Central to Buddhist philosophy is the concept that suffering, including the phenomenon of mood swings, stems primarily from our attachments. This perspective aligns closely with Stoic thought, especially regarding the dangers of becoming overly attached to externalities like wealth, status, or even relationships. Buddhism explicitly addresses this through the doctrine of anicca, or impermanence, which asserts that all things are transient and subject to change. Thus, attachment to these impermanent aspects of life inevitably leads to suffering, as the loss of, or even the potential loss of, these objects can trigger profound emotional upheaval. For example, the intense grief experienced upon the loss of a loved one, or the anxiety at the thought of such a loss, exemplifies how our attachments can destabilize our emotional state. By recognizing the impermanent nature of all things, Buddhism teaches us to cultivate a detachment that can moderate these emotional swings and lead to a more balanced, peaceful existence. The Buddhist doctrine underscores a profound truth. Just as all external things are transient, so too are our internal states. Our moods fluctuate throughout the day, influenced by myriad factors including the 5 mental hindrances: desire, anger, lethargy, restlessness, and doubt. These obstacles can cloud our mental clarity and disturb our emotional equilibrium. The challenging aspect of this is clear. Our daily experience is often a roller coaster of emotions, shaped by factors both within and beyond our control. However, there is also liberating news in this understanding. Just as these emotions arise, they also dissipate. Nothing within our mental landscape is permanent. This impermanence is at the heart of mood swings. They are by nature transient and fleeting. This understanding can serve as a double-edged sword. On one hand, the recognition that a positive mood will eventually shift can prepare us for inevitable changes, reducing the shock when they occur. On the other hand, this same recognition can lead to despair when a positive mood begins to fade, resulting in a deeper fall into negative emotions. This is akin to being struck by 2 arrows. The first is the natural decline of a mood, and the second is our own reaction to this change, which often exacerbates our suffering. By accepting the transient nature of our moods and not clinging too tightly to any emotional state, positive or negative, we can mitigate the intensity of these swings and approach a more balanced state of mind. This is the essence of the Buddhist approach to navigating the inevitable ups and downs of emotional life. Reflecting on the teachings of both Stoic and Buddhist philosophies, we come to confront the external circumstances that so deeply impact our moods. What aspects of our world invoke such distress, such dissatisfaction? The existential philosophers present a stark yet poignant answer. It is the inherent meaninglessness of existence, the profound absurdity of life on a seemingly purposeless planet in an indifferent universe. This recognition of meaninglessness often leads to existential dread. We grapple with the disquieting thought that ultimately, our lives may not have an inherent purpose. This existential void is aggravated by the human quest for overarching meaning, a quest that may never be satisfied. In response, we often seek refuge in distractions, immersing ourselves in work as a pretense of significance, finding solace in romantic love as though it were the epitome of life's meaning, or numbing our existential discomfort with substances that dull our capacity for deeper thought. Many turn to religion, which offers a framework that can mitigate existential anxiety by providing a sense of meaning and structure. However, from an existential perspective, the specter of life's inherent meaninglessness can always reemerge, challenging the comforts found in constructed meanings and reminding us of the ultimate futility of our actions and the non-existence of an afterlife. This acknowledgement of meaninglessness, however, also introduces a profound level of freedom. It allows us the autonomy to define our own meanings, to shape our existence as we see fit. Yet this freedom is a double-edged sword. It highlights our responsibility for our own lives, but also underscores the intrinsic absence of predefined meaning. The clash between our deep-seated desire for significance and the recurring recognition of life's fundamental meaninglessness can lead to profound despair. Yet, it is within this despair that we also find the opportunity to authentically create and live by our own values and meanings, perhaps the most sincere form of existential response. This is the crux of the existential challenge, navigating the tension between the freedom to create meaning and the weight of knowing that any meaning we create is inherently our own construct. Epicureanism offers another valuable perspective on the issue of mood swings, focusing on the pursuit of ataraxia, a state of serene calmness that forms the bedrock of a happy life. Epicurus, the founder of this philosophical school, taught that true happiness comes from managing one's desires and avoiding irrational fears. Epicurus warned against engaging in the relentless pursuit of extravagant desires such as extreme wealth and fame. These are not only difficult to achieve, but also inherently unstable and insatiable. Once one milestone is reached, the desire simply recalibrates to a higher goal. Such pursuits place happiness on precarious foundations, as contentment becomes contingent upon achievements that are not only fleeting but also largely out of one's control. The inevitable fluctuations in success and public opinion can therefore lead to significant emotional turmoil. Furthermore, Epicureanism highlights the perils of irrational fears, fear of death, pain, or poverty, that can dominate our lives and distort our perspectives. These fears often drive us towards desperate measures to secure happiness, measures that are ultimately futile and self-defeating. Epicurus proposed a simpler, more reliable path to ataraxia, focusing on easily attainable pleasures and maintaining a modest set of desires that align with nature. By adjusting our expectations and desires to focus on what is natural and within our control, such as the enjoyment of simple pleasures, deep personal relationships, and personal growth, we can achieve a more stable and enduring form of happiness, less susceptible to the whims of fate and the instability of external circumstances. This approach reduces the likelihood and intensity of mood swings by removing their common triggers, offering a more tranquil and balanced life. While philosophical insights provide valuable perspectives on the external influences on our moods and our reactions to them, it is also essential to acknowledge the significant role of biological factors in emotional regulation. These internal factors, which include genetics, physiological states, and mental health conditions, contribute substantially to the dynamics of our mood swings. Genetic predispositions play a crucial role. For instance, certain genetic markers are associated with an increased susceptibility to mood disorders, such as bipolar disorder. These conditions can cause dramatic fluctuations in mood that appear disconnected from external circumstances. Similarly, sleep, a fundamental biological need, has a profound impact on mood. Consistently poor sleep can lead to negative mood states, and over time may contribute to the development of more severe mood disorders. Mental illnesses, such as borderline personality disorder and bipolar disorder, involve significant mood instability that often requires medical intervention. These disorders can lead to acute changes in mood that are disproportionate to or even entirely detached from external events. This kind of emotional dysregulation can make individuals feel as though their moods are shifting wildly without apparent cause, impacting their quality of life and ability to function. Additionally, everyday biological fluctuations, such as changes in hormone levels, can also influence our moods. Even minor shifts can have noticeable effects on how we feel from day to day or throughout the day. Thus, while our philosophical approaches focus on managing how we perceive and react to external circumstances, understanding and addressing these biological factors are equally crucial. This may involve medical interventions, lifestyle changes to improve sleep and reduce stress, or therapy to better manage the symptoms of mental health conditions. By considering both philosophical and biological perspectives, we can develop a more comprehensive approach to managing mood swings and achieving a more stable emotional state. The internal factors don't just cause moodiness for no reason other than bodily chemistry at work. They also influence how we relate to external factors. For example, a person with borderline personality disorder, which is prominent in my family by the way, can react explosively to an external event, which non-disordered people wouldn't do. Also, someone dealing with high sensitivity can be easily overwhelmed by external stimuli. Too much of it can negatively affect this person's mood. So to a certain extent, factors beyond our thinking influence our mood, which seems to contradict what the Stoics propose. But in reality, the Stoics acknowledge the existence of internal factors, such as mental illness and so-called pre-emotions, which cause involuntary responses. Professor Margaret Graver describes this in her book called Stoicism and Emotions, and I quote, "In Stoicism, not all emotional reactions are deemed within the realm of voluntary control. Pre-emotions or propathei are instinctual, automatic responses that occur before the mind has the opportunity to reflect and intervene. These can include physiological reactions such as blushing, flinching, or even gasping, as well as the initial emotional impulse before full emotional engagement. According to the Stoics, these responses are natural and can be observed even in the most disciplined individuals. This Stoic acknowledgement of pre-emotions illustrates an understanding that while we can strive for control over our reactions through rational thought and philosophical practice, there are aspects of our emotional life that are immediate and involuntary. This understanding aligns Stoicism more closely with modern psychological insights into the nature of emotional responses, particularly in those with certain mental health conditions. Therefore, while Stoic philosophy emphasizes the importance of rational control over emotions to achieve tranquility, it does not ignore the complexity of human psychology. Instead, it recognizes the initial uncontrollable aspects of emotional responses and suggests that wisdom lies in focusing on what we can control, our subsequent thoughts and actions following these initial impulses. This nuanced view allows for a more comprehensive approach to managing emotions, acknowledging both the limits and the potential of human rationality in the face of internal and external influences. The Stoic perspective, as elaborated by Professor Margaret Graver, intriguingly differentiates between what might be considered pre-emotions, involuntary, automatic responses to stimuli, and true emotions, which are products of our reasoning and deliberation. According to Stoicism, reactions such as blanching, shuddering, or even spontaneous laughter and tears in response to art are natural and involuntary. They do not yet represent the reasoned emotional responses that Stoicism aims to cultivate and manage. Moreover, Stoicism posits that extreme emotional responses, those that seem disproportionate or excessive, may actually transcend the boundaries of what Stoics define as manageable emotions. These are categorized not as true emotions, but as symptoms of mental illness. This distinction underscores a fundamental Stoic belief. True emotions stem from judgments and are within our power to control through reason and philosophical practice. This Stoic view highlights a significant challenge in emotional management. While we can strive to influence our emotional responses by changing our judgments and beliefs about the world, there are elements of our emotional life, driven by biology and deep-seated psychological patterns, that are less amenable to change. Genetics, for instance, play a crucial role in determining our predispositions and can influence everything from our vulnerability to mental health conditions to our general emotional temperament. For those who inherit less favorable genetic predispositions, the Stoic practice can seem daunting. These individuals may find themselves more prone to intense, perhaps unstable emotional experiences that are difficult to manage through reasoning alone. In such cases, modern psychological interventions, which might include therapy or medication, can be vital tools in achieving the kind of emotional equilibrium that Stoicism advocates. Thus, while Stoicism provides valuable tools for understanding and managing emotions, it also acknowledges the limits of these tools. Recognizing the roles both of involuntary physiological responses and profound psychological conditions play in our emotional lives allows for a more nuanced and compassionate approach to personal growth and emotional management. This approach respects both the power of philosophical insight and the realities of biological and psychological constraints. The concept of determinism provides a profound layer to understanding human behavior, especially within the Stoic framework. According to determinism, all events, including human actions, thoughts, and feelings, are the consequences of specific preceding causes. In terms of biology, this view suggests that our genetic makeup plays a significant role in shaping our behaviors and emotional temperaments. For instance, the presence of certain genes can predispose individuals to bipolar disorder, leading to inherent vulnerabilities such as pronounced mood swings. From a Stoic perspective, this can be viewed as part of what is termed fate, factors beyond our control that are woven into the fabric of our existence. Despite the deterministic nature of genetics, Stoicism offers tools that can help manage the challenges posed by such predispositions. Stoics emphasize focusing on aspects of life that are within our control, our responses to what fate deals us. This philosophy teaches that while we may not be able to change our genetic makeup, we can work on our attitudes and reactions to our emotional experiences. Philosophy, particularly Stoicism, provides several strategies to help manage mood swings and other emotional challenges. 1. Understanding and acceptance. Recognizing that certain aspects of our nature, such as genetic predispositions to mental health challenges, are beyond our control, can lead to greater acceptance. This reduces the frustration or resistance that might worsen emotional disturbances. 2. Focusing on the controllable. Stoicism teaches the value of distinguishing between what we can control and what we cannot. By focusing our energy on our reactions and decisions rather than on trying to change unalterable traits, we can cultivate a more stable and peaceful mind. 3. Cognitive reframing. Stoics practice reframing their perceptions of external events to reduce negative emotional reactions. By changing how we think about our mood swings, viewing them as part of the human condition rather than personal failures, we can mitigate their impact. 4. Practicing virtue. Stoicism also encourages living according to virtue, wisdom, justice, courage, and moderation. By striving to embody these virtues, individuals can find a steadier emotional state regardless of their biological predispositions. 5. Mindfulness and reflection. Regular self-reflection and mindfulness can help individuals become more aware of their mood fluctuations and triggers, allowing them to respond more thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. In conclusion, while determinism and the Stoic concept of fate acknowledge that many aspects of our existence and personality are predetermined, philosophy, particularly Stoicism, offers practical approaches for managing life's challenges. These teachings help cultivate resilience and emotional stability, empowering us to live more harmonious lives despite the complexities of mood swings and other psychological conditions. Philosophers throughout history have not only pondered the great questions of meaning and purpose, but have also provided practical guidance on how to navigate the complexities of human emotions and achieve inner peace. Their teachings offer valuable insights into managing our moods and cultivating a fulfilling life. Epicurus advocated for a life focused on simple pleasures, suggesting that contentment arises from engaging in activities that are easily attainable and inherently satisfying. His philosophy emphasizes the importance of appreciating the mundane joys of life, such as the company of friends, the enjoyment of food, or the beauty of nature. By setting our desires on these attainable pleasures, we are less likely to experience disruptive mood swings, as our happiness does not depend on elusive or difficult-to-maintain goals. This approach not only fosters positive moods, but also shields us from the depths of despair that can arise from unmet desires. For those interested in exploring this further, I have produced a video detailing Epicurus's philosophy and its applications to modern life. Stoicism, on the other hand, teaches the cultivation of virtues such as modesty, self-control, cheerfulness, and honesty. Stoics believe that by focusing on what is within our control, our actions and our responses, we can maintain a stable and peaceful state of mind, irrespective of external circumstances. This philosophy advises against attaching our well-being to volatile elements like wealth, fame, or material possessions, which are at the mercy of fate. Instead, Stoics advocate for a life centered around personal virtue and moral integrity, which leads to durable inner peace and resilience against the vicissitudes of life. For those intrigued by this approach, I offer a series of videos on Stoic philosophy that delve into these concepts in greater depth. Both Epicureanism and Stoicism provide frameworks that help individuals manage their moods by focusing on internal growth and simple, sustainable pleasures rather than external validation. These philosophies, while distinct, share a common goal: equipping individuals with the tools to achieve a balanced and contented life, reducing the frequency and intensity of mood swings, and enhancing overall well-being. Buddhist monk Ajahn Nyanamali provides a nuanced understanding of depression, offering a perspective that emphasizes the internal origins of this condition, despite external influences. His insights suggest that while external events can trigger depressive episodes, it is the internal mental state that fundamentally shapes how these triggers are perceived and experienced. This perspective aligns with Buddhist teachings on the nature of mind and suffering. Ajahn Nyanamali points out that depression, like any mental state, is heavily influenced by our degree of attachment and entanglement with external circumstances. He advocates for the practice of sense restraint, a method aimed at reducing our reactivity to external stimuli, thereby minimizing their impact on our mental state. This approach involves consciously moderating our engagement with sensory inputs, which often amplify emotional reactions. A particularly profound aspect of his teaching is the concept of non-resistance to negative states. Ajahn Nyanamali advises that by accepting the presence of depression, rather than resisting or fighting against it, we reduce its power over us. This acceptance does not mean giving up or succumbing to despair, but rather acknowledging the experience as it is, without adding layers of self-judgment or denial. This approach can lead to a paradoxical experience where accepting a negative experience becomes a positive experience. This acceptance helps to dissolve the aversion that often perpetuates and intensifies depressive states. This philosophy can be broadly applied to manage any unpleasant emotions or mental states. By cultivating a mindset of acceptance and restraint, we can fundamentally alter our relationship with our thoughts and feelings, leading to a more balanced and less reactive mental life. This approach underscores a key tenet of Buddhist psychology, that freedom from suffering begins with understanding and transforming our internal responses to the world. For those interested in exploring these ideas further, I recommend visiting the link to Ajahn Nyanamali's video, where he delves deeper into these practices and their benefits in managing depression and other challenging emotional states. This resource is an invaluable tool for anyone looking to find peace amid the turbulence of mental health challenges. Indeed, the challenge of managing mood swings is a universal concern, cutting across philosophical, religious, and psychological disciplines. Each of these realms offers distinct strategies for understanding and addressing the emotional oscillations that affect human behavior and well-being. Religious traditions often provide a spiritual framework for enduring life's ups and downs. Practices like meditation, prayer, fasting, and rituals are employed to cultivate a sense of inner peace and resilience against emotional disturbances. These practices encourage adherents to connect with a higher power or a deeper sense of self, providing a grounding effect that can moderate mood swings. Modern psychology, on the other hand, offers a range of therapeutic approaches aimed directly at managing emotions and moods. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, focuses on identifying and changing negative thought patterns that can lead to emotional distress. Dialectical behavioral therapy, DBT, developed specifically to address borderline personality disorder, teaches skills for emotional regulation and interpersonal effectiveness. Jungian analysis and shadow work delve into the deeper, often unconscious parts of the psyche to reconcile internal conflicts and foster personal integration. These therapeutic practices reflect a broader understanding that mood swings are not just a modern phenomenon, but a part of the human condition throughout history. As you noted, prominent figures from various eras, including Roman emperors, Beethoven, and Charles Bukowski, all experienced significant mood fluctuations that impacted their lives and legacies. Even mythological deities were depicted with volatile emotions, influencing human affairs in profound ways. This historical perspective is vital because it highlights that while the manifestations of mood swings may vary across cultures and epochs, the underlying human experience is consistent. It reassures us that we are not alone in our struggles with emotional regulation. In conclusion, the quest to manage mood swings is as old as humanity itself, and the tools developed to address them are as diverse as they are valuable. Whether through philosophy, religion, or psychology, humans have long sought to understand and control the ebb and flow of emotions. Each approach provides unique insights and tools that can help individuals achieve a more balanced and fulfilling life. Thank you for engaging with this exploration of mood swings across disciplines. Your attention to these diverse perspectives enriches our understanding of how to live well, despite the inevitable emotional challenges we face. If you like this video, please give us a like and a subscription as an encouragement to us.